Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We're taking a stroll along the Cottonwood Heights trail system, kind of getting an update on how they've progressed in the last couple of years. Now, this is the point of the show where we usually bring you a trailhead adventure, but today we're going to do something different. We're going to offer you an editorial. Please make no mistake, this is an editorial. It does not represent the views of the TV station or the TV station's owners. In fact, it doesn't even necessarily represent the views of the other cast members of this show or the AYL staff. It's my opinion and my opinion alone. But it's opinion that I believe I share with hundreds, if not thousands, of viewers. It is in their behalf that I speak to you today, Governor Huntsman, and I hope that you will take this in the spirit in which it is intended, which is to let you know how the motorized recreationists who actually use the public land feel about the world in which they live. Governor Huntsman, this is not about your record. For the most part, those of us who are armchair recreationists really don't know what your position is on motorized recreation. We've not heard much in the last couple of years, except for the recent statement that you made when you were on a tour with SUA in Moab, the Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance, in which you said abuse caused by ATVs was an abomination and an embarrassment to the state. Now, we understand the protest from your office that statement was taken out of context, and it's not really what you mean. But we've been waiting nearly a month for you to make a correction, and none has come. To be fair, Governor Huntsman, our viewers really need to take stock of some of the accomplishments that have happened during your administration, and they deserve notice and commendation. Number one is your directive to make maps readily available and the very successful Trail CD program which your administration started. Thank you. Additionally, your administration has continued to support the development of the day trail systems in the West Desert. You also deserve credit for your administration working to make connector routes available so that individual ATV trail systems can be turned into loops with a beginning and a return point. These are highly commendable activities. But Governor, the lack of action on issues such as RS-2477 legislation, in specific, the amicus brief which you filed on behalf of Kane County, that the county actually had to ask your staff to withdraw because it was actually doing more damage to their case than it was doing good. Or the governor's consistency report filed in response to the 6 BLM resource management plans, where your office called for a wilderness-style land management by creating a new classification of land called Utah Natural Lands. It is feared by the county commissioners in the counties affected by the plans that this designation gives federal land managers ability to specifically apply blanket wilderness management standards to all lands under that designation. It is such a grave concern that as I speak right now, the county commissioners in the Utah Association of Counties meeting are signing a letter directed to you requesting that you remove the natural lands designation from your consistency report, for they fear that it will lead to road closures as lands start to be managed de facto as wilderness. Governor Huntsman, you may have very good reasons for your actions, but we don't know what they are. Now, in our conversation with your staff, they said that you had been in touch with county officials and state officials in every county in the state to talk to them about land access issues. But as of today, when I talked to Commissioner Mark Habishaw in Kane County, he had not heard from you. As a matter of fact, he was wondering why Kane County got skipped in that tour. We accept the notion that wide-range cross-country travel is no longer possible due to the sheer number of machines that are out there. But the onslaught of lawsuits and travel plans, emergency closures, and all-or-nothing brinksmanship played by environmental organizations, the recreationists have been locked out, kicked off, rerouted from a large portion of not only the land, but the specific routes that they have historically enjoyed for decades. Arbitrary closures of places such as June's Bottom Road, Muddy Creek, the Paria Canyon Gorge, even places such as Factory Butte or Lake Powell or Yellowstone leaves recreationists fearing that the story relayed to me by U.S. Congressman Jim Hansen a few years ago may actually become a reality. A delegation from SUA came to his office and they were trying to negotiate how much was a suitable amount of wilderness for the state of Utah. And he said, well, you've got 6. What if you had 8? I said, we'd want 10. What if we gave you 12? We think we should have 14. What if we gave you 22 million acres? They said, that's not enough. And he said, well, that'll have to be enough because that's all the BLM land there is in the state of Utah. You see, when you talk about proposals like Red Rock Wilderness, which would take 9.3 million acres of southern Utah and lock it off to everybody but backpackers, you have taken effectively 20% of Utah's 54 million acres and closed it to the rest of us. Compound that with the roadless initiative and inaction on those proposals, and you can drive motorized recreationists into full-blown paranoia. The paradox of the roadless initiative drives them crazy. Here you've got lands that are wilderness except for a single road going through them. So the idea is find those lands, designate them, close the road, it will grow over and it will become wilderness. Well, if you can revert to wilderness simply by closing the road and it will reclaim it, why do you have to close it in the first place? Address the specific problem, not the broad category. If you have a problem with an area because there's degradation, by all means, close the road. If the Forest Service finds an endangered or threatened species of plants or animal and they need a little protection and help to get back on their feet, close the road. Governor Huntsman, these aren't just my concerns, they are the concerns of your constituents. From all walks of life, we find commonality in the outdoors. And our public land should not be reserved exclusively for the fit elite with countless weeks of free time to explore the wilderness. If we make so much of our land wilderness, as SUA would propose, that only 1.5% of the recreating public would be the only ones to enjoy 40% of our public land, what's fair about that? The people that you're about to hear from are the people who would suffer.
We'd just like to let them know there's a lot of families out here that want to go ride and spend some family time together, have some good, clean fun. We'd like to know what we can do to help them so they can help us keep our trails open.
Well, as the Director of Tourism for Millard County, I seriously feel that if they were to close the public lands in Millard County, tourism would die, and tourism is a huge industry.
There needs to be a happy medium where the people utilizing those trails stay with the marked trail system and they quit closing existing trails to us.
I think it's sad. I think there's a lot of responsible ATV riders out there and they need a place to go recreate. And, our public lands are multiple use, and that's one of the uses.
In Texas, everything is closed up. And I would hate for that to happen here in Utah. I mean, we can't enjoy our land. You can see it from the highway, but you can't get in it.
More and more roads are closed, more trails are closed, less public access all the time, and I'm concerned about that. I don't see a reason for it.
Since we started taping this editorial on Wednesday, a lot has happened. We just learned that the governor's office has responded to a group called Ride with Respect. It is a nonprofit. The group plans to discuss OHV management issues with Governor Huntsman and develop a comprehensive strategy to curtail off-trail travel. We'll update you with the outcome. That's good news, and our hats off to the governor for taking that step. In summary, Governor, there is still goodwill among most of us that you will fairly hear from the defense as well as the prosecution. We're aware that your team is in motion, and we are confident that your decisions will be fair and balanced. Leaders with conviction spend their political capital to achieve their goals. Leaders with ambition save their political capital to achieve theirs. Governor Huntsman, what's in your wallet? My personal bet is that when your legacy arrives, your wallet will be empty. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Now, if you'd like a little more information, a little more detailed information about this and the events that led up to it, go to our website, check it out. You'll find plenty there. Stay with us. We'll be back with more of At Your Leisure. When we come back, this week's contest winners and a look at next week's show.